Okay, everybody, this is Emar Substitute, the Sports Inquirer, and we're joined by Blake Neleman, a starting pitcher for Georgia Tech softball. Blake, thank you for joining us. How have things been going for the team? Well, you had finals, just finished that up, and how have you handled that and now getting ready for the ACC tournament?
We're really excited. I think we've put in a lot of work all year. Even during finals week, we had a little bit of like a change in schedule where we weren't necessarily doing as many team practices, more individual stuff, but I know everyone was getting in and getting their work in. Everyone's just really excited to get there. I mean, like I said, we worked really hard all season, and I feel like this is now the time where you get to show that.
I think some teams actually played some midweek matches or even some or games, and even some regular season games heading into the tournament. You were off for an entire week. Do you think that's a benefit? Or if it wasn't, how did you stay sharp during this off week, not playing?
I feel like it did help us. Like you said, it was finals week and our seniors were graduating, and I felt like it kind of gave us that time to handle finals and not have the stress of games and have to worry about that, and allow our seniors to celebrate graduating and enjoy that moment that they worked so hard for. And we got to have in a lot of times when you're playing games, you don't necessarily get to do as many practices that you work like really, really hard at because you have games and you have to, you know, be prepared for those games and not like, throw too many pitches and then be worn down. But having this whole week where we weren't throwing a game, it really like allowed like the pitchers specifically to, maybe throw some bigger, longer bullpens. And so I feel like we're, got some rest and got some good work in and are ready for the tournament.
What about you individually this year? Last year, you had a solid season, but you really improved. You already matched your win total from last year, career high in strikeouts. Your ERA is down nearly a run, or maybe more than a run from last year. What's been the difference in this junior campaign for you in the circle compared to last year?
I think like not trying to do everything myself. Really, I think sometimes like I tried to really like try to control everything around me, and instead I feel like this year, letting my teammates have my back and being there for them, and really, like I said, not trying to do too much, and just knowing that like even if something goes bad for me, it's not the end of the world. There are a bunch of other people on the team that are going to be there to pick me up, and just trying to be there for them as well. And I feel like kind of having that mindset as opposed to just trying to go out and do everything myself every time and getting really disappointed when it doesn't work out, and not letting bad starts or at bats like kind of hold me back from like the next game or the rest of the game.
What's been the difference just really this year as well, being a junior compared to freshman year was the COVID affected year in a strong way, in limited games. And then last year, still a lot of protocols. What about this year? It's kind of been the first school year without still protocols, but not as much in your upperclassmen. Has this been a big difference as well? Just having a complete off season, you got some fall ball in. Is that beneficial for you?
Yeah, I really enjoy playing fall ball. I feel like it kind of gives you a chance to, like see where everyone's at, even in the fall, and see what you have with like all the incoming people. And like obviously, it's just a chance to play and get to play softball, and that's what it's all about. So I feel like coming back this year, I've kind of liked it because I feel like I do have all that experience. So I feel like nothing has really felt like too new for me. So I feel like I know what to expect, and I know like what I want to change from last year to be better.
Yeah, and what about the rotation? You pitch quite a bit. You have some other players as well that make a lot of appearances. What's it like as a unit, just working together, and then obviously having a all conference caliber catcher helping you out as well.
Yeah.
But what about your unit? What's that like? Just your teammates and just you growing with them and helping each other out through a season.
Well, obviously Chandler's someone who throws a lot for us, and we're really close. And I think we help each other a lot. Like just even in the bullpen, like we sometimes see something that like we might not feel when we're throwing ourselves. So being able to like kind of we throw similar pitches and be able to look at like each other and like kind of bounce ideas off of each other for help. And then just always knowing that like the rest of the staff, like Palmer, Lexi, everyone has my back. If like, I'm not pitching well, like I don't have to be perfect every time. I know that they're going to go out there and do well too. So I'm like, just, having full trust in all them. And then obviously Emma behind the plate, she does such a good job, and she's really I feel like she really helps center me sometimes when I'm out on the mound and like if things feel a little crazy. I know she's always there to have my back and helps kind of settle things down. And I always know I can like, ask her about pitches and ask her opinion on stuff. And she's always there to, always positive and always believes in me. And I love that. So
Yeah, and also just throughout the year, you started many games and made some relief appearances. Like it seems like there's been some of that as well. Do you have a preference with that? Because I've seen some teams they stick one pitcher. She starts all three games of a series and just go maybe pitch the entire weekend, and then some teams kind of split it up. What's that like for you? Do you like maybe being in relief situations? Do you like starting and knowing like, okay, I'm gonna get the ball, maybe all three contests? What's your preference?
I kind of like a little of both. Because I do like starting, like getting to start the game and set the tone for the game is always like I've always enjoyed doing that. And I feel like, a lot of times like if you do really well in the circle, that kind of carries into offense and, like it makes them have a lot of confidence behind you. And then I also like coming in relief too, because I feel like it's like a way to show like say like one of the other pitchers like Chandler or Lexi or someone gets in like a jam and I can come in there and like help clean it up for them, like, just shows them that I have their back no matter what. And like when they do the same thing for me, if I'm like in struggle and like Chandler or Lexi comes in and gets out of it and like it just makes me feel like they really have my back. And I feel like we have like a lot more unity in the bullpen this year. Like all of us like really like trust and like really support each other. And I feel like that's been a big difference too.
Yeah, when you're not starting a game, do you second or third inning start doing some drills, start warming up? How do you handle that situation as opposed to when you're starting, first pitch, it's going to be you? What's the difference in the preparations and during a
Um,
game?
Well, if I'm starting, I usually like know the exact time when I like to start warming up about 30 minutes for the game and do long toss and all that. But I, it depends. Sometimes I'm told I'm in relief or sometimes I'm not. So if I'm not in the rotation, then, that's more like just like, maybe catching up for the infield when they're doing their drills or, being more of like the cheering role on the bench because sometimes the pitchers, have like a little cheering section in the front. But if I'm in relief, I usually know what kind of inning they tell me, like when, like if I'm late or early relief. So really just gauging the game, like going down and warming up then. And I usually do long toss before the game too on those days. I just don't rush right into warming up after that.
Yeah, and also the ACC tournament brings back, I'm sure, a positive memory from your last season with the no hitter. Looking back at that, what was just some of the highlights from that? Did you know early on in that contest that you're pitching well? Were
Um,
you aware of that you were not allowing a hit? What was that? What were emotions like just during that contest?
um, I honestly had no idea, which I feel like sounds silly, but I really didn't know. I remember like it was obviously a very tight game going into the sixth inning, and I just remember like all season long, I felt like the hitters had been putting a lot of runs on the board, and that had been the way we were winning, just scoring a lot of runs. And so I really wanted to just, do my best and try to put as many zeros on the board as I could because I know they were working really hard in the box, and the other pitcher for the other team was doing a really good job. And so I was really just focused on, not just putting a zero on the board every inning and taking it one out at a time. And it wasn't until after the game when one of my teammates ran up to me and she kind of like grabbed me and was like, "You just threw a no hitter." And I was like, "What?" And so that was honestly a moment I'll never forget because it was someone I was really close to at the time. He's not on our team anymore. And it was just really special to like, it was honestly just so like special to win in that moment and like be like have another game to play the next day.
Yeah, and now you go to the ACC tournament facing North Carolina State first. You've seen them already this year. What's tournament atmosphere like? Obviously, it's a neutral site for you. You're on the road. You're already seen all of these opponents. I guess the scouting report's a little bit less intensive. What's the tournament atmosphere like for a player, particularly a pitcher? Because you don't know how many games you're going to play. You might throw a lot, may not throw as much. How do you get ready for it?
Honestly, I just try to take it like one pitch at a time. Something that I've tried to do this year is really focus on like having intent behind every single pitch I throw. So not trying to like, get too sped up in a game and like be like, oh, I have to get six more outs or 3 more innings or anything like that, like just trying to focus on like one pitch at a time and throwing every single pitch with intent. And I feel like in the tournament, things like can get a little more intense because it is win or go home. And that can be the end of someone's season right there. But I mean, really just trying to play for the people around you, I feel like is the best way to really like calm all that. It's just playing for all the people you've played for all year and just, playing with intent, really.
Well, Blake, thank you for your time. We greatly
Oh,
appreciate it.
no
And
problem.
safe travels to Pittsburgh.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.